Okay, let's go ahead and case a T-Beam Supreme up in the case that you have either purchased or that you were going to purchase. Okay, let's cut this little zip tie out to separate the case. Okay, separate it into the three pieces. We're working right now with just this frame. Alright, so lay your frame over to the side and let's get the T-Beam. Brand new T-Beam Supreme. Okay. Now, the very first thing that we're going to do is prepare the T-Beam to go into the case. Alright. So, one of the first things we're going to do is take the nut off of this antenna along with the lock washer and the regular spike washer. Alright. So, set those over to the side. Alright. Now I want you to flip this T-Beam over, and we're going to be taking out these 4 screws on the corners. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. These screws are kind of funny Phillips screws. You might have to try some different Phillips screwdrivers to get them out. Like, they're not very deep at all. They're very flat screws. So let's get them all out. Come on. And they're a little tough coming out too. They're in there pretty tight. All 4 corners. Alright, now that you got those out, I also want you to peel off the GPS unit from the battery pack. It's just on there with a little double sticky sided tape. Okay, and then I want you to kind of pick up on this plastic right here and pull the antenna out like that. Alright, make sure that that is tight on there. So I'm just going to grab it by that lower nut. And now it's tight. They are loose. All of them are loose like that, so grab it by that little inside nut, and the top is going clockwise to tighten it up. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and get the case. Now this takes a little bit of finesse. Just pull it out like that and get it started in that hole right there. And you're going to have to wiggle it kind of up into place. Like I said, it takes a little finesse. to get that guy going in there. Okay. Sometimes it's easier to use a little flat head than your fingers to get this guy into place. Okay, and the pocket in there is the same as like the nut size, like it's octagonal. So make sure that it's all the way up in there. All right. Now once you get it up in there, I want you to go ahead and put on the spike washer. Then put on the lock washer. And then very gently, because it's easy to push it back down through that hole. You want to get this nut on there to keep it from coming back out of that hole. Easy, easy, easy. And get it tightened down. Now I want you to take that GPS antenna and stick it right down inside of this pocket right here. Okay, and just push it down flush. It should stick out of the back some, so you're just going to push it down flush. Now, before you slide this part in, make sure that these IPEX antenna connections, a lot of times these T-beams come off and they're already popped off, or when you're fiddling with it, they'll kind of pop off, so make sure that they're on there good and tight. Now we're ready to slip it down, just like that. Alright, so that T-beam is in place. You can go ahead and peel off the screen protector at this point. Alright, now in your purchase, you'll have one of these hold down, or you'll have a couple of them. What I want you to do is, this is a two-piece pad, so just peel them apart. Okay, and it's got self-adhesive on one side, and I want you to put it right there on that piece of clear plastic right beside the power. Alright, press it down. Now you'll notice that this side, this plastic right here, sticks up a little bit. That's correct, it should. It doesn't sit down. It sits flush on that side, but it doesn't sit down flush on that side. Okay, so that is correct. Now we're going to go ahead and place the screen on here, but what we want to do before we place the screen on there is go ahead and clean the screen, just to make sure there's no dust or anything on it. And I just use a paper towel with a little bit of little Windex or alcohol, and just clean that screen up. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put the screen on. I'm going to start over here on the antenna side, and I'm gonna hold it off like that, kind of like that, and get the middle, kind of get the middle in between these two things here, these two sides, and push it that way, and then push it down. Now you'll feel that hold down pad kind of pushing up on the screen, and that's correct. Alright, now I want you to take 4 screws out of the bag that you had. Okay, 4 of these screws. And it's really easier just to kind of hold that case down and put that screw down in the hole and just finger turn it a little bit. And pay attention to this crack right here, this gap. Press it down with your thumb, squeeze them together, and then do that screw. And you don't have to do the screw super tight at all. Not at all. Same thing on this side. Okay. You see I still got a little bit of gap, so I can go ahead and tighten that up just a little bit more. And now let's go ahead and get this side. Okay. On this side. And the final one. Okay, so now your T-beam is in this case and in the frame. Now what do you got left? The battery. Go ahead and pop your battery in. Remember, positive and negative, don't mess that up. And then we can go ahead and install the back cover. Now, you'll notice on the back cover you have a little pocket right here, and that pocket goes over that GPS thing that's sticking out. Alright, and same thing, we're going to just the other 4 screws that came in your bag. Let's go ahead and get all them in. Squeeze them together. Okay. Antenna. Go ahead and screw that antenna. Remember, always have that antenna on there. Never power this device up without the antenna on it. Ever, 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 ever. In fact, when you put that battery in there, get that antenna on there first. I know I didn't because I didn't have the battery in there, but if you're going to put that battery in there first, I would recommend that you put the antenna on there before you stick the battery in. Okay? And you're ready to rumble. And you know your antenna does this collapsey thing too. You can flip this antenna around all you want to. Okay. That's done. You're done. Congratulations. You have a T-Beam Supreme. This T-Beam Supreme is my favorite radio. Personally, that is my favorite radio for the LoRa stuff. See you later. Oh yeah, those 4 screws that you took out, just stick them back in that box. You don't need them. Now you don't have to throw them away. Just put them back in the T-Beam Supreme box with the rest of the stuff. That's all.